What up, what up, what up, what up? So, today, what do I have on my mind today? So, today's big topic is making big decisions. I mean, big, life changing decisions. How do we make those? So, as you guys all know, the power of Google, which is great. I'd like to, as a techie, believe that Google has all the answers to life, but wrong, it doesn't. They're all. Um, Sometimes there is answers. Sometimes there's suggestions. Sometimes it's just knowledge that you take in by doing research and reading. Just depends what you do. So I've looked at a few different, by a few I mean 100 different either blogs or articles or sites on researching human nature of making it a decision, a big decision, small decision, life-changing decisions, whatever the decision might be. So here's the conclusion I've come to. There's not a right or wrong answer, which is not the answer any of us are looking for. Let's be real. So how do you approach this? I don't know. Started with a pros and cons list. Hasn't really got me that far or to where I would like to be, for say. So people recommend going with your gut. That's not always the best option because I tend to do a lot of gut decisions, gut instincts. You always people say if you have a gut feeling, you're usually probably right about, which I'm not gonna disagree. 99.9% of the time, they are right about that. So I have a big decision to make, and I'm trying to go with the main one that I feel is number one is don't rush into anything because I'm really big about doing that. I make my mind up in matter of 24 hours on something huge because sometimes you're just like, you only live once, right? YOLO, whatever people say. Don't go with that decision making. I feel like it's good to have a conversation with someone where you entrust, someone that you value the same values, or someone that understands what you might be going through, or someone you're okay opening up to, or having those kind of communications on a decision that's life changing. So someone you feel open to having that communication with. Two, I feel your gut is another thing. Three, I like pros and cons list, but I feel like as a human we can be biased, so I'm not 100% sold on that method. And four, I feel like you should think about it from a perspective of the outsider looking in. So if my friend came and talked to me, what kind of advice would I give them? Not thinking about it as it being myself. So not advice for me, but me giving out the advice. And five goes back to, it's a pros and cons list, but it's a weighted pros and cons list where you kind of you weigh the different pros and cons, so at the end you have a value associated with it. So it gives you more of like a mathematical solution. Like at the end you have an answer, which I still fall back into the just making a pros and cons list, and you become biased to one or the other. So I'm not 100% sure on if I fully go with that. So long story short is, what I'm trying to get at is, I'm trying to understand how everyone else makes life-changing decisions, and what's their approach on making those choices, because it's a choice that not only affects me short term but long term, and it's something that I feel like you should take into consideration. But at the same time, I feel like sometimes we overthink things and um, keep adding on to the decision instead of making the decision. So I feel like you overanalyze, you overthink, you try to play every scenario which you don't know at this time. So you shouldn't do that either. So I'd like to know what you guys as individuals do, or what kind of information you collect before you make a decision like that. So if you want to comment below, give me your suggestions. Let me know how you guys do. Maybe you guys flip a coin. Maybe you guys, have some kind of faith or something that you look for a signal. I don't know. Everybody's different. To identify what you should do. So feel free to comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are, or if you have any recommendations, suggestions, knowledge articles I should look at, blogs, anything you think I could check out to help me come to a decision. And don't forget to subscribe if you like the content. And I'll check you guys out tomorrow. And as soon as I figure out how to become a decision maker, I'll let you know the choice I went with and how I made that decision, and what conclusion I have come to for the next chapter. So as always, be kind, loving, caring, practice it. The more you do it, the more it becomes a routine. So make sure to do that. Becomes a routine, becomes normal to you. You do it without even having to hesitate or think about it. So make sure to do those things. Peace.